This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. I don't know what today is. Oh, it is the 24th. Okay, Tuesday afternoon. I'll start. I'm Kim from Iowa, multiple sclerosis, relapse remitting, currently on Ocrevus, and this is rotator cuff surgery and using the ice machine for helping with pain. That's it for now. So we'll go on to next to Lena. Welcome and introduce yourself and let us know if you need time today.
Sure. I'm Lena. I'm from Los Angeles, and I have relapse remitting. And I just started Ocrevus last week or 2 weeks ago, and so I'll go back in November. So let's see how it goes.
Okay. Did you need time today, Lena?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. Luis, welcome back. Introduce
Thank
yourself.
you. Thank you. I'm Louise from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia in Canada. And I've been diagnosed for a very long time. Yeah, 30 years maybe. Um, I'm taking baclofen and I would like some time, please.
Okay. Thank you, Luis. And Andrea, hello. Introduce yourself, please, and let us know if you need any more time. Oh, we got
Hello.
Canadian accent today.
Hello. Hi, Carmen. My name is Andrea. I live in North Carolina. I was diagnosed in 2012. I would like some time.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. John, hello. Welcome. Introduce yourself. Let us know if you need time today.
Hi, I'm John. I'm from Michigan. I'm currently on Zeposia with relapsing remitting, and I need some new time because I might be switching medication.
Okay, great. Last and not least so far, Carmen. Rounding out the
Hello.
Canadian invasion. Welcome and introduce yourself, please.
Hello. Sorry, I'm just having some computer difficulties here. I'm Carmen from Canada with a very unique hat. My hair is a mess, so I had to put a hat on, and now I look really silly. Anyway, I have primary progressive MS diagnosed in 2014, and I'm currently in a clinical trial for tolobrutinib, and I don't really need any time. I'll just jump in whenever. Nice to see you guys.
It's great to see you, Carmen. We'll start up with Louise then. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, I have some questions, but just to give you a little bit of history without a lot of details. In March, I had and still have um, oh my God, I got this brain fog on my pelvis and my L5 disc. I had what did I have? A fracture. There we go. I had a fracture, and the outcome of that has been it's still very painful, but it's, of course, getting better. I can't walk now without my walker. I can't walk with a cane. And not being able to walk and uh, having to walk with a rollator um, is new to me. And I've had MS for 30 plus years. But the question that I have is, without, I'm just not going to get into a lot of details because I could probably take up the whole session. But um, I've never had issues with bladder until I got this fracture, and I just cleaning cupboards, being bent down and twisting, and when I got up, the pain was just amazing. So I never fell. Um, And so went to the hospital, had X-ray, and on and on and on, more tests, and then I ended up having to have an MRI. And I was in the MRI machine for half an hour, laying down on this really hard surface. And so after this MRI, the pain was amazing. And so again, without the details, calling 911, going to the hospital, and discovering that I was retaining. Now I can't. Maybe Carmen, you can help me with that. 2 liters of urine. How much is 2 liters of urine? I should have looked it up. Anyway, that's a lot. And
About 2,000 mils.
Gallon, probably around a gallon.
a gallon.
I'll do a
Close enough,
quick
yeah.
calculation.
Like super close enough.
Okay, it was a lot. And so ever since then, I've had issues, and I'm asking other, MS people if this is familiar to you. So I've had issues. I have issues where um, my body tells me that I need to go pee, and then when I do go, I can't pee. Or other times, I just can't get to the bathroom on time, and I just have this very uncomfortable situation. At night, I get up and my bladder just gives out. And so my question, what I'm confused about is, um, I can't control my bladder or I can't pee. And so I'm just wondering, is this a common MS symptom? I see a lot of head shaking.
It is.
I think it's
Yeah.
both. I think it's both, Louise, because when I had my back issue last year and I got my back surgery at the end of May, my bladder went completely haywire. And
Okay.
I went to I went back to a pelvic floor physical therapist, and with her, I was able to get my bladder back under control with all the different exercises and stuff like that. But she was like, "Well, duh, it makes sense, you're because the nerves in that area, could help control
Yes.
the bladder." So they were just getting, yeah. So I think it's both. I think it's due to your partly due to your fracture and also due to MS. So.
Due to the MS. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
And
actually half a gallon, you guys. Sorry, just didn't mean to jump
Yeah,
in on top of you,
and we
Louise.
do have in the U.S. we do actually have when it comes to soda, we do have 2 liter bottles. So we actually do know how much 2 liters is.
2 liters.
Americans actually do know how much 2 liters are. One of the few metrics we actually know how much it is.
Did you say soda?
Soda or
Yeah.
soda pop?
What soda? It's pop, right?
I know it's whatever you
No.
want to call it.
No, no. So my brother got married in Pennsylvania, and I went to the bar and asked for a soda, and they gave me soda water. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I need a pop." Because the first time my Aunt Mary, who lives in Michigan, asked me if I wanted a pop, I wanted to know what I'd done wrong.
We're just
She
talking
was
about the
going to give me a
intricacies in the U.S. of calling carbonated beverages soda pop, or some places it's just Coke. Everything is just Coke. So anyway,
Right.
sorry,
That's dope.
sidestep there. So
Louis.
has your bladder gotten any better, Louise, or is it still just
no.
where it works too much and then
So
doesn't work enough?
I ended up with a catheter, and I removed the catheter myself after maybe 4 weeks. I wasn't very popular at the doctor's office when I told them that I just couldn't stand it anymore because it was causing me a lot of discomfort. So um, I don't know. It's very inconsistent. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do about that. I guess Kim, um, it got better for you, right?
It did when I saw the pelvic floor physical therapist. So there's a specialty in physical therapy that they just deal with the pelvic floor. and I saw her for multiple sessions. And then she would give me homework on different exercises. It's not just Kegels, it's other things too. And with that, I got my bladder issues all resolved, and they worsened because I'd have, I'll get bladder problems here and there. I've never had to go on like medication or get Botox like some other people who have been in this group. But the pelvic floor physical therapy wrapped everything up for me, but it got completely out of control when my back at that time, if I stood up longer than 30 minutes, the pain would just shoot up. And it was really hard to get comfortable sitting, laying down, standing. That's why I had the back surgery. So I don't know if there's they can give you other things to help you with your bladder.
Well, the other thing is
besides just having you wear a catheter.
I'm taking Kim. I'm taking Lyrica.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You're familiar, and I just got to get off that because I feel I feel really really bloated, and
Okay.
I just don't like it. But anyway, Carmen, you had your
Yeah, I just was going to say, Louise, one of the first things, like if I'm not feeling well, my bladder is the first to start being reactive, and I have lots of urgency, and just it doesn't empty properly. I really have to sit and relax
yes
and use
yes
like body mechanics by leaning over. In fact, I'm like, yeah. Anyway, and I've been on like Ditropan and Myrbetriq for a long, long time now, just to decrease the spasticity and to help with things. I did get bladder, Botox, about
yes, I
2 months
remember that
ago,
too.
and it's been life-changing. But the other thing is that bladder issues happen for women in menopause and beyond, because so lots of women without MS have bladder issues, and certainly a pelvic floor specialist is going to be able to help you mechanically, and that has helped, like with the Botox. Sometimes, well, before the Botox, I would have, such urgency that by the time I made it, even just going to my commode, which is super easy, I can just pull right up, stand up, sit down. I couldn't even hold it. But thank goodness for bladder, or like my pelvic floor sort of therapy and exercises that I'd done, I can still kind of hold things. But with the Botox now, at least I can make it. Whereas before the Botox, even with pelvic floor exercises and doing my, clenching and trying to control it, it just wasn't working either. So, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
This is very helpful what you're saying because I do the same thing. I sit down and I have to relax and but I think what's really helpful for me right now is to hear what you're saying because I was wondering, am I the only one? And um,
Yeah.
my doctors, great doctors, I love them, are not sure if it's MS or if it's just that I retain urine. So um, I
I also
tend to feel I'm sorry, Karen, Carmen.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was going to say that Lyrica also caused me a lot of swelling. So it could be part of that, like, just your swelling
Okay.
aspect. But
Wow, that's really good. That's really interesting because I feel like I feel like I put on a huge amount of weight and I weigh myself and I haven't. I weighed the same thing. So what you just said about Lyrica, because my ankles are swollen, and why would that not interfere with? Yeah,
which is also part of not being as able to move as freely. Like it's kind of a catch-22. You can't move very well, so you get swollen, and then you're swollen, so you can't move very well, and it's like this vicious cycle that keeps on repeating. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's so complicated. There's so many different aspects to it. I'm really sorry.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really a struggle.
yeah. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, that's very, very helpful.
I
Have you
just have a
considered
quick question.
medication? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lena.
Oh, I just want to know about this Botox, the bladder, because I got bladder issues. And who do you go to for that? Your neurologist?
Urologist.
Urologist. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta get one of those.
You can talk to your neurologist and ask them if they're connected to any urologists or if they know of any good urologists.
Okay.
Sometimes there are specific ones that sort of specialize in that treatment. So it's worth asking a few questions, but seriously, life changing.
And Lena, where are you from again?
LA.
Oh, there's got to be a billion people in LA.
There is across the
You know
street.
what I mean?
I see. I see all the time. I'm gonna go. I make an appointment. I'm gonna go because this is getting out of hand. I'm wearing those adult diapers because I don't know what to do. I mean,
Yeah.
depends. I don't know.
We call them briefs now. They're not diapers, they're briefs.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's embarrassing.
I apologize for that. Okay.
Oh,
No,
no.
no.
I don't know.
It's only known by the inner circle that don't want to say adult diapers, but you know.
There are some people that are very sensitive calling them diapers.
Diapers?
And I think in the like assisted living in communities, I think they call them like adult briefs and stuff because diapers are what you
Panties.
on little kids. So just it's heads up on that.
But it is like so limiting. It's just so limiting when you have bladder issues and you just never know when things are going to hit or how you're going to make it. You know, I've got a complicated area to get into downstairs because I've got a split level. So, you know, my stair lift is right there, so I can't even go down the hallway in my chair, and then I have to walk like 10 steps, which feels like about a mile when you have to pee. Like there's no way I can make it. In fact, I just told my husband, I'm getting another commode for downstairs, so at least I can work outside and do some things in the garden and not be worried about like peeing my pants.
Yeah.
Louise, have you seen a urologist?
I have an appointment to see a urologist.
That's great to hear. Great to
Yeah.
hear. And I would throw out with them to see if they could help you maybe go see a pelvic floor physical therapist too to see if that's helpful
right.
for you or not, just to see. Because the cool thing
Yeah.
about them is that there's no interaction with other medications. There's no side effects with other, so if it helps you, great. It can be like one thing that maybe helps it better, make it better for you.
And maybe I could connect with someone like that online instead of because I live in a rural area far away from everything. So maybe I'll do some searching around to see if I can find somebody online. Yeah. So, Lena, I know exactly what you talk about though when you're talking about having to wear these protective garments, you know.
Annoying. And
Yeah.
it's like
Have you
you go out to lunch or to dinner or something, and then you're like, okay, so you go to the bathroom before, but then I don't like going in public restrooms because it kind of freaks me out. And I'm like, okay, so I won't drink too much. I'll
Yeah.
control it. But then, okay, what happens when you get to the house? So your body senses the bathroom is coming, and then
Yeah.
that's it. You lose it.
Yeah.
one of the things the pelvic floor physical therapist told me, the first one I went to, was I needed to stop what she called is just in case peeing. Because she's
Yep.
like, you're doing it too much, and now your body it's used to only having your bladder so full, and that was actually making it worse. So she was trying to get me to like wait like maybe 3 hours and try to elongate it longer. So that was one of the things that she taught me was like stop the just in case peeing. Now, obviously, if you're going to be gone for some hours and you're not going to have a bathroom, please just do the just in case peeing, But she really made me think like, do you really have to go? Can you wait? Can you hold another 15? Can you hold another 5? Kind of thing. And have you been to a pelvic floor physical therapist, Lena?
No.
Oh, get one, girl. Get one.
You know what? She just called me, and I make an appointment with her. So I'm gonna go a urologist, that pelvic thing, and
Pelvic floor physical therapists. They are amazing. I couldn't. I did not know they existed until AnCan had this webinar with this urologist that's also a sexual health expert, Rachel Rubin. I had no clue that these people even existed. But yeah, do amazing work. I highly recommend. And yeah,
Okay, I wrote it down.
awesome.
I will do that.
It's like this little secret weapon that I never knew about until I was in that webinar, and it's been amazing for me. And maybe it'll help you in some way to get some control. Maybe it doesn't do anything at all, but I like it, like I said before, because you don't have to worry about drug interactions with other medications, and you don't have to worry about
Yeah, that's
crappy
great.
side effects to other medications. So it's like my go-to. And it was
And
kind of
was
interesting because when I
funny.
asked my neurologist in town to give me a recommendation, referral for pelvic floor physical therapy, he looked at me and he says, I don't usually give out referrals. And I was like blown away because I'm like, over 50% of your patients have bladder issues. That would be like for me, if I was in his shirt, that was the first thing I would do. Like, are you having bladder problems? Okay, you're going to pelvic floor physical therapy. And it's not just for women. Guys also can use a pelvic floor physical therapist. Everyone, anyway, watching. So, yeah.
Great.
So
Okay.
check it out, and I'd like to hear from you guys, later on. Get updates if you found anything that was helpful to help with all the bladder issues, because that's a massive problem that we
Yeah,
tend
right.
to experience, and not just MS too, but just as women get older too. It just seems like it's just something, and like I try to tell my mother and mother-in-law about the pelvic floor physical therapist, and they are just like just can't, it doesn't register to them. I'm like, you don't have to live like this all, the time. You can, and I just can't get through to them. So it's kind of frustrating. So,
Okay, I'm going to ask a really dumb question, but
no,
okay.
No, you can't.
That's a question. I'm
that's
gonna ask a
yeah.
question. So for the bladder thing,
Mhm.
and how do they do it? Like um, with this Botox thing, how do they do it to
Well,
control your?
you have a cystoscopy, so they go in just like as if you were getting a catheter. So they put a small tube in your urethra, and then they view the inner lining of your bladder. Like this is the procedure that was done for me. They tested my kidneys first. She did a full visual inspection of my bladder, so just making sure that everything was healthy and good. And then I was scheduled for another appointment, and it's basically the same cystoscopy. They go in with a small tube, and then she injects the Botox into the wall of your bladder. So my urologist said that the standard dose is 200 units, but she only does 100 because she doesn't want to totally paralyze the bladder, just want to have a little bit more control. And it took about 2-ish kind of weeks to really sort of take effect. And so I still have bladder control, but at least I don't have that massive urgency where I cannot hold it back.
Oh,
That's how it
got
worked
it.
for me.
Okay.
That was a
Well,
beautiful
Carmen,
explanation, Carmen. Thank you.
Yeah,
How long
thank
does
you.
it last before you have to get it redone, Carmen, for you?
She says it's different every time. So I've only had it in the beginning of March, April, May. I felt like last week it was like, oh my God, are you kidding? This is over already. But I just had a tough week. I was really tired and I had a lot of urgency. And so things are kind of back on track for me. But I did call in and say, I better book an appointment because it takes a while to get in. It takes a while for it to take effect. And she said the minimum spacing is 4 months. So I wouldn't even be able to have another procedure until August anyway. So at least I'm in the queue and I'll get a call for August and we'll see how it is then. So I have no idea really how long it's going to last. She said anywhere from 2 to 6 months. People are all different.
Good to know. This is great information. I love it. Love it.
Do they put you to sleep for the procedure, or are you awake for that?
No, no, no. It's just like a 10-minute procedure. It doesn't really take that long.
I guess
You're
she's
awake.
asking about the pain. She's asking about the pain level.
Yeah,
That's
I
why.
know, I know. I was trying to get to that. I was trying to get to that. So, yeah, you feel it a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but yeah, this is what I always say. Yeah, I can feel it. My massage therapist used to laugh at me like, yeah, you can feel it. Uh-huh. It's like probably an 8 out of 10 in pain, but it's not that bad. It's like seconds, like there's just some small injections and it's a strange feeling because it's deep inside of you. So it's not super, super painful. It's just I don't know. I mean, unless you're really, really nauseated by pain and discomfort, and I mean, it's awkward. It's awful. It's like embarrassing. The first time I went, I also had to learn how to self-catheterize because if they freeze you like that, you have to be able to empty your bladder. So that was the worst part. That was in the first time, and I had no idea. I didn't know what to expect, so I didn't have any like pillows or props or my leg lifters or nothing. So I had no control on my legs, and here I am with like the urologist is there, the nurse is there with this little tiny like rear view mirror that I'm supposed to use to then catheterize myself with the soft, flexible little tube with slippery lube and in an awkward position. Like it was awful. Plus, then there was a resident at the bottom of like the foot of my bed just staring at my crotch as I'm trying to do this. Anyway, the whole thing was just mortifying. So the next time I came back, I was fully prepared and it was much better. So just FYI. I mean, this disease, you just have to give up on your modesty. There's just no way to have a modest life.
True,
Yeah.
but good to know. This is great. Okay.
Pain is worth the gain.
Sounds like it. It sounds like it's just a temporary. As soon as they're done injecting, I'm assuming it doesn't hurt that much as soon as they stop injecting. So, and then
Yeah.
you have that, and it can last up to. Sounds like you said you have to wait 4 months in between injections. So,
Yeah.
I'm learning all good stuff about this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's good to know. Thank you.
You
Good
said
luck.
something interesting, Carmen, that you thought maybe it wasn't working anymore because you had I think you said you had a difficult
A
week,
challenging week.
a challenging week, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's and that affected your bladder.
Symptoms
So,
are always worse. Like with MS, anytime that I'm tired or fighting an illness or something like that, I'm sure you guys are probably,
stress.
yeah, stress, yeah, anything. Like, it just affects your symptoms. And one of the things that gets affected most by me is my bladder. So
Okay, yeah.
Having that
this is
vertebrae
all just my
fracture.
personal experience, you guys. Like, I'm just trying to share my personal experience. I'm not trying to give you any,
I
full
don't hear
advice.
any advice, but I appreciate what you're saying, because I had this tremendous fear of like 2 liters of urine. That's a huge amount,
That's a lot.
Mhm.
and so the stress of 911 and on, I think caused me to hang on to this urine. I don't know, but excuse me, what you're saying is very helpful. I don't hear it as advice.
Louise, just as an FYI, like one of the things that they sometimes have to do is if they do the bladder for Botox for bladder, I always say it backwards, and you end up your tube frozen, like then you do have to use a catheter potentially, like just temporarily. Um, of course,
Yeah,
that's a slippery slope because it's just it's very complicated. But just so that you know, sometimes you do have to use a catheter for a bit until it I don't know. I guess the urologist will work through it with you. I never have had to self-catheterize. I've been okay. Like I ended up with
yeah,
a UTI right after the procedure, which almost always happens now. Like I never used to be a frequent UTIer, but with these procedures, I do end up with it. So I've had to do a few courses of antibiotics, but in general, everything is fine. So I'm not retaining a bunch of urine. I'm able to empty my bladder. I just have to give myself enough time.
yeah.
Okay. Speaking on the thing about the UTIs, Carmen, you don't have to answer this question, but have you heard that if you take like vaginal estrogen, it can reduce your UTIs up to 50%? 50.
I haven't heard that, but I'm actually taking something called D-mannose, and it has been
Yeah,
also life-changing.
yeah. I do D-mannose too. Yeah,
Me too.
I love
I like
Yeah.
D-mannose.
Manos, the
Yeah,
hands of
but
fate.
that's sorry, John, what'd you say?
I would say Manos, the hands of fate, because Manos is
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, I learned that also from Dr. Rachel Rubin. The whole vaginal estrogen can reduce UTIs up to 50%. So if you're a
Wow.
woman of perimenopause or later, vaginal estrogen can be a game changer for UTIs and help lowering. problems with
To know.
those. Yeah. So,
Alyssa?
Pardon?
I actually get an e-ring every 3 months.
Oh, you do the e-ring. Nice. That is, yeah.
What's
So you
that?
can have a. Can you tell us what it is, Alyssa?
I can definitely tell you how this fantastic thing is. I have a nurse come and insert the ring into my vagina, and for 3 months I have extra estrogen.
It's essentially
Oh.
just, you can get estrogen like 3 different ways. You can get like a cream that you apply. You can have it like, it's considered a vaginal suppository, where it's a little pill on like the end of an applicator that you do twice a week. Or you can do it like Alyssa that does, is where it's just an estrogen ring that you leave in for 3 months.
I chose to do it that way because I have a nurse that comes and puts it in. John, you're totally not in this conversation right now.
He is. He has a wife. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay. But yeah, no, it was either I was given 3 options and the ring was the easiest.
Absolutely.
Has it been helpful, Alyssa?
I don't know because I think I'm dealing with really, really bad perimenopause this last few weeks.
How
I
long
don't
have you
know.
been using the ring, Alyssa?
I just June I got June 12th, and then 3 months before that was when it started. So I've only had it for about 3 months.
Okay.
But I know like lately I've been feeling really yucky.
Yeah.
And I'm freaking out, of course, because I don't know what's going on. So I've emailed all my doctors. I have appointments with all my doctors coming up. And my urologist actually said that what it sounds like with like my hot flashes. And yeah, I think I'm going at perimenopause.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. So, and my other question was, have you had any UTIs since you started the e-ring?
I thought that I did, but I didn't.
Okay.
It's just the menopausal stuff.
Yeah.
I also take a birth control to stop my period.
Oh, okay. So you're on both right now.
I'm on progesterone birth control. I've been taking it for a million years,
Okay.
and that's why I have an appointment with my primary care in July, my urologist in August, and then my gynecologist in September.
Okay.
Because I need to figure out something. I don't want to start having periods again because it messes with my MS so bad. But these perimenopause symptoms are messing with my MS really bad.
Yeah.
This disease sucks.
It
I'm sure you
definitely.
guys can all relate.
Exactly.
I think one of my biggest issues with perimenopause is like the sleep aspect. It's like my body does not. I have to take medication to knock myself out because my body does not understand what sleep means.
Really?
So yes, it was really bad. It was so the one thing I was concerned about having my rotator cuff surgery last week was last 13 months ago when I had my back surgery. I spent 2 nights in the hospital. I literally slept 0. Like I'm not like I'm not exaggerating that. Like literally 0 sleep for 2 nights. And then the next nights at home, I slept very little, and then so a week after my surgery, I had delusions because I wasn't sleeping. So I had to go back to the hospital, then give them medications for me to sleep. And once I slept, I woke up and they go, "Hey, what do you think?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that wasn't true." And then when I saw my primary care physician, because I wanted her to let her know, she looked at me and she goes, "Well, duh, you didn't sleep for a week." You know, but I had to be really super sensitive about this surgery that I had last week. Is this going to happen again? Because I did fine with it, but it kind of traumatized my husband. Okay, let's be honest here. It traumatized my husband. So I made sure, I'm like, look, this is the medication I have aboard. This is the person that helps me with this. So we got it all figured out. So I've slept and made sure my recliner, because the surgeon said I'd have to sleep with a sling on for 6 weeks in a recliner. So I made sure this recliner was comfortable with 6 pillows I add to it. And I'm doing much better. I'm actually, it makes sense. I'm not having delusions. But I had to be, the end of the story is I had to be super aware and sensitive that if I don't get enough sleep every night is very problematic. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out the best way to handle that, because the medication I have side effects to, but right now I'm willing to deal with the side effects to get the sleep, and then hopefully as I get further away from my surgery, I can try other things to help sleep. So
Did they do, was it laparoscopic or arthroscopic surgery?
arthroscopic.
I just asked, I had shoulder surgery when I was 16.
Oh, okay.
I tore my labrum and stretched out my ligaments because I never threw properly.
I think I tore labrum, which is like a slap, and then something else with the, I don't know. But would you go ahead and introduce yourself, Alyssa, because we have some
I'm
people
sorry.
today that have never met you before, I don't believe. So go ahead and
I'm
introduce
sorry, I was late. My bad. My name is Alyssa. Excuse me. I have relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed in 2000, so I've had it for 25 years. I am now on my 8th medication. I'm on Mavenclad, and I can tell you tons more, but I don't think you all want to hear it.
Do you need time today, Alyssa?
I think I just got my time without me actually asking for it.
Okay, so you don't need any. Okay, just double checking. No, that's
I
how.
think I'm okay.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry you're having lots of issues that the MS aggravates it more. It feels like MS plus perimenopause equals hell on wheels.
Equal crud.
I was, and I will totally admit this. This is back when I was younger. I thought the women were making it up and how bad it was, and I apologize. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. Some women do a great job. They don't have issues, and other women, it's like something like you're completely out of whack on everything, and it's so frustrating. So yeah, I learned that it can be really, really awful.
Everybody, and that's the same thing with MS. Everybody is different.
True. Very true, Alyssa. Everyone
It'll
is different.
affect everybody differently.
Yeah. But and then Carmen, how did you hear about D-Manos? Because I talk about it sometimes, and I even took a supplement class, and they didn't even have it. It wasn't even my supplement handbook. D-Manos wasn't even in it. And I was so upset.
You know, it was a person that I met. It was actually a massage therapist that has relapsing remitting MS, very mild, but she said, "Oh my God, like I've driven up to the ski hill and forgotten it, and my husband has had to drive back to get it. That's how big of a difference it makes for her." So she said that she used it when she like started to feel a UTI potentially coming on. I've been doing it prophylactically, like how I was instructed when I bought it at the pharmacy. And I think what she said, and she was actually talking to someone else, and then I jumped in later after she'd finished helping that person and said, "Oh, I want that same stuff." So I didn't hear the whole thing, but it's something like the part of the supplement kind of binds to cells on the urethra to prevent the infection. I don't know. That's not 100%, but
So what I've learned or heard about, so D-mannose is a type of sugar, but it's not a sugar that diabetics, like it's not a sugar we metabolize. So we flush it out of our urine. And so I think it's mainly for the bacteria E. coli, which is usually like 90% or 95% of the urinary tract infections, I think is usually due to E. coli. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, when the D-mannose is sugar, so it's a food source. So the E. coli go, "Oh, yummy, yummy, let me go eat that D-mannose," and then it releases out of you, and you just flush out the extra E. coli, so it doesn't attach
Kim,
to your.
how is that? What does it do?
The E. coli it doesn't stick
I
around.
wanted you to say that no, I don't want you to say that again. I was calling you on what you said. I want to hear you do it again.
I don't know what I said. That it gets excited. The E. coli tries to eat the food source and gets flushed out by the.
Something like that. The way you said it was adorable.
Oh, thanks, Alyssa. But I always believe because I had a urinary tract infection that then went to a kidney infection when I was 4 years old, and I took massive amount of antibiotics for like 6 to 9 months afterwards. I believe this is personal. This is my own personal opinion. I believe I always have kind of a lower grade, a higher bacterial load or some damage. So for me, D-mannose keeps it in check. And I haven't, knock on wood here, I don't think I've had a UTI since I've started taking the D-mannose. But I take a higher dose. Like so they come in, you can get it in a powder form or in a capsule form. The capsule form is usually 500 milligrams. And when I first started taking, I would take like 2 grams of it. But now I just take a 1 gram or 1,000 milligrams or 2 capsules. And it really helped my mom too. She has having the problems, the same thing. I got her on D-mannose. Doesn't work for everybody, but my God, it was a game changer because it was at a point in time where every time my husband wanted to touch me, I got like a UTI and he was like freaked out. So,
I totally put some of that in my cart on Amazon right now.
you know what I'm talking? You found it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. No, try it. And then you can go up when I talk to, this is like the whole call is about Dr. Rachel Rubin today, but her other urologist that works with her that I work with personally, she said you could go up to like, I forget what dose she told me. So those doses weren't out of range of obnoxious, but it's great because if you're diabetic, you can use it because you don't metabolize it. Humans don't metabolize that type of sugar and stuff, and it doesn't interact with other drugs, and so
Sorry
that's
to
what it's so
interrupt, but
cool
your
about it.
description, Kim, your description was perfect. I just did a quick search and it
Was that
creates
right?
well, it says like it makes a smooth lining on the bladder. So maybe it was the bladder, not the ureter that I was talking about, but it helps the body to expel the E. coli bacteria. And then it's also showing promising results for being used instead of antibiotics for UTI treatment. So do a Google search and take a look at it. And 1.5 grams is the recommended dose twice a day for 3 days on a UTI thing, but not that I'm like suggesting what the dosing is, but you're right
Mine's
in
a
saying
proactive thing that
parameter.
I do. Yeah. And
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. And
and
I didn't quite
John,
get there yet.
John
on the
already
link
did
that you
this.
did, that is the brand I use. The Now brand is the brand I
I'm stepping
use.
away for a minute, you guys. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. What were you saying, Melissa?
I was saying John already did the search for us.
Yeah, and that's the brand I actually use. I use the Now brand.
I have a
Because
question
I'm
for
really
you guys.
interested in that with all the pain that I have.
I'm surprised all the people that you've been dealing with, John, they haven't recommended it to you.
Who
But
knows?
I
like
have
I
the
said,
same thing you were talking about, Kim. They told me that my bladder was colonized, and so there's always going to be bacteria in my bladder. So now when I have a UTI, they have to send it off and wait 3 or 4 days to get the results back to find out exactly
Mhm.
what
what bacteria?
antibiotic
Yeah,
they give me. And
yeah.
it doesn't help that I have allergies to several
Yeah, I
antibiotics
have
as
an allergy
well.
to Cipro, which is a common UTI medication. Yeah. And I think having like the 6 to 9 months of the medication when I was 4 years old changed the flora of my urinary tract. So I feel like
Yep,
in a way I have a subclinical level all the time. Does that make sense? That's not registered, but
yep,
then can get out of hand. So anyway,
yep.
but good to who brought up the D Manos? That was a good. Oh, that was Carmen, wasn't it? Yeah, Carmen, get that. I want to say hi to Corey too. Sorry, you've been bopping in and out. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, Corey.
Hi, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing today, Corey?
Oh, not bad. I forgot it was on at 1:30 and my phone kept going crazy and I didn't know how to get back on and everything and I just about said to hell with it. So, but anyway, I managed to get back on. So,
Well,
anyway,
did you need
It's
any
good to
time
hear
to
from
talk
him.
today?
no, I don't need any time to talk. I mean, it's 103 degrees here and it's killing me.
Oh God, it's been super hot in Iowa too.
Yeah,
My,
you guys get affected pretty bad by the heat.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
really bad humidity in Iowa.
Yeah, so do we
Yeah.
here in Indiana.
Yeah. So my husband has been very great. Since I've had my rotator cuff surgery, we go to the mall once a day just so I can get some walking in because right now it is just way too hot. And with my sling to get on my cooling vest, it's like, can we just go to the mall where it's
Yeah,
air conditioned, flat?
yeah. I tried mowing. I mowed today, and when I got off the mower, I was just so off balance. I was just getting ready to fall everywhere. Couldn't walk. So
So
yeah, it's just miserable.
have you learned that you should not be mowing the lawn in hot temperatures now, Corey?
Well, yeah, but I was just trying to beat the heat. But apparently, I got in here it was 103 out, so I didn't make it.
Corey, did you ever end up getting a cooling vest?
Yes, I do have one, but I didn't put it on this morning, or I went out about 10:15 or so, 10:30. But it takes me about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to mow, and I was just going slow apparently.
Okay. Can you do us all a favor and the next time you know mow, please put on your cooling vest?
Yeah, I'll try remembering.
Try not to do
My
it
wife,
in the morning.
yeah, my wife's on me all the time about that thing, trying to get me where
Well,
it's just so damn heavy.
okay. Which cooling vest did you get, Corey? Where did you get it?
Uh,
Because
I
the
don't
one I
remember
have
where.
is under 2 pounds. It's a Thermapparel one. I know Polar is a
Yeah,
way heavier, like 8 pounds.
yeah, I don't know. It's got like 12 cooling packs in it. I know that.
Okay, yours is probably way bigger. Can someone put in a link to Therm Apparel? It's one word. I think there is a MS, not the MS Society, but a different MS, is it MS Foundation? Guys, help me remember where from February through June, you can get an application filled out and they'll pay for one for you. Am I
Okay.
remembering this correctly?
He is the foundation.
What
What
is it,
what is that?
Alyssa?
What
I
am I
think
looking
MS
up right now?
Foundation.
Can someone
Okay.
Google MS Foundation and double check that they do that application? I think it's February
Thanks,
through
Alexa.
June.
Alexa did
And
it.
if it does, can you put it in the chat
Yeah.
and let us know?
Don't worry about it, Kim. My wife's got all that, and she's out of time, or she checked into it. She checked into it like a couple days ago, and they're all out of doing things this year. They're out
Really?
of they're out of funding
Oh, that's
for
terrible.
the cooling
Sorry,
vest. So we got to try next year.
Banana wanted to say hi.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
banana?
I love banana. Hi,
Oh my.
Melissa.
Hi,
And
guys.
that's Melissa too. That's my wife, Melissa. Banana just spent an hour outside in the sun, so good for her.
That's so
You know what
cool.
else? Another thing that works is getting the cooling fan,
Okay.
like the neck fan.
Yeah.
Someone put that on a link on the
I
chat.
don't have a link. I'm just telling you because that's what I was told in the other group I'm
Okay.
And they
I
also,
seem to struggle quite a bit when it's hot. I mean, if it's in the 80s, 90s, yeah, I'm miserable out. I can't. I have such a hard time walking. I mean, I just barely get around. Um, but I mean, I manage to do it, but how the hell I don't fall is beyond me. I just don't get it. But I don't. But I just can't believe I don't. You know what I mean?
We have the air conditioner. Amy has one.
yeah.
We have an extra one plus we got Oregon. I'm pretty sure. Same tattoo.
Make sure
Can
you
you hear?
drink a lot of water, Corey.
What's that?
You drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
I know when I was working outside for 30 minutes with my personal trainer in the summers here in Iowa, I would be in the shade, but I had like two large fans blowing on me. I'd have my cooling vest on, and then I would also be drinking massive amounts of water that was iced. super iced up, and I could get through 30 minutes doing that in the shade. But man, after that, so.
It's everybody is different.
How do you do with the heat in California, Alyssa and Lena?
What I do is I stay inside.
Yep.
You know, Lena's smiling. Why are you smiling? Because you're the same way?
Yes,
I stay inside.
I stay inside. Me too. I have a high bill, but I still stay inside.
I do have a pretty high bill, but I have help. So I'm okay.
I went to Palm Springs last week and I got a heat stroke. My first heat stroke I ever had in my life. Because it was 115 degrees in Palm Springs. And I'm so dumb. I should have stayed inside my room and not stay outside. It was too hot for me. So a heat stroke, and I slept for 3 hours and then I was fine. Because then by that time it was nighttime, so it was good. But heat stroke was the worst thing ever.
What was
I don't
that
know.
like, Lena? What was that like? The heat stroke.
I threw up a lot, like a lot. I had like 3 containers of like throw up. I couldn't stop throwing up, and
Wow.
so then my friend, she's a nurse, so she put like a towel on my head and something on my chest, and so I'm glad she was there because she kind of took over the situation because I never knew what it was. I never had one, but it was scary. I was scared.
There are also 4 spots on your body that can help cool you down too. It's on your wrists and on your ankles.
On your wrist, just the back.
On your wrist, like right here.
Uh-huh.
And your ankles. And I see, Andrea, are you agreeing with me?
Yeah.
Yes, because the veins come close to the skin at your wrist. So if you cool your wrist, then it cools the blood and as it gets pumped through your body, and I'm assuming same thing with your ankles.
I've done neck before. You know, like neck right here and right here.
Yep. And they have like scarves that you can wear around your neck too. They have a lot of different cooling equipment, just not for the cooling vest. And Corey, you might just have to grab the hose and hose yourself down a little bit before you start mowing, so you're wet.
I understand that.
The summer before I was diagnosed, I mean, I had symptoms, but how nurses and doctors have like clinicals, geologists have to go to field camp. It's where they show off all that they've learned in school. And so I was outside for 8 to 10 hours a day in hot weather, just nothing, just in the sun. Oh my God, we're doing so much, we did so much. But I think that really was the trigger for my MS. But yeah, we had to stay cool, and I was a bronze Adonis, you know, from all the good sun. But yeah, we had a couple people pass out. You know, we had to like ice them down, stuff like that. It is scary though, right?
Scary.
And I get hot too. If you're wearing a hat, put some ice cubes on your head and the hat will hold it in. Because a whole bunch of your heat escapes through your head.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a great
Just
idea.
mount a fan on the front of the machine. Just have a fan blowing on you.
Yep.
Yeah, if you can walk with
Get
like
one of those neck fans.
Alyssa said, those
One of
neck
those
fans. If he wets himself down and then wears a
That's what I
neck
said.
fan, yeah, like Alyssa said,
Yep.
that would be. I think that would work really well. Help at least. And if you have to do it if you have to stop, you know, and just do the front one day and then do the backyard the next day to cut down the time, you know, do it.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I'll maybe try that.
I don't know how big your yard is, but some people have really big yards.
It takes about an
An
hour and
hour and a
45.
half on a mower. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a big
it takes
yard.
about an
A
hour
big
and a half,
yard.
hour and
That's
45 minutes. It's too much yard, really. I mean, I wish to God I had the money and I just stone it all. I mean, because like I said, I don't need a yard. I mean, a yard does not do nothing for me. Uh, it's just a place where snakes gather, and I'm scared to death of them. So I just assume just have rocks in the whole yard, and I just use Roundup once a year.
That's the life, isn't it?
Where do
Look
you
at
live, Corey?
Oh, I live in Indiana.
Okay.
okay. Should we switch gears down to who wants to talk next? I got Andrea and John. Which one wants to go next?
I'll go unless,
Andrew.
John, you're ready.
Andrew, do you want to go
Okay,
first?
sure. Um, so this spring I had a really rough time of it. Um, and I think I've been talking about this probably for multiple meetings now. It's just not necessarily bad stress. Some of it wasn't great stress, but just stress, just doing things and worrying about things um and I started getting this rash and I've been struggling with this rash and I went to the dermatologist and they gave me some cream and then it started to spread further like all over my body. And I went back to, well, I couldn't get an appointment with my regular dermatologist, so I just went to the guy who had an opening for an appointment, and he was just a complete dick. I'm sorry, but he was just like most doctors that I encounter. He was condescending. And I was like, look at my feet. And because my soles of my feet were just like cracking and just they just weren't. And he's like, well, have you ever considered using a pumice stone?
Oh, gee.
And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah. Well, so I'll give you some different cream. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Put that on twice a day. He, I wasn't even put in a gown. The nurse that took me back to the room, I don't know if she's a nurse, the technician, whatever she's called, she took some pictures and he came in and like I'm like lifting up my shirt. Like, do you see this going all the way down? Like, look at my feet, look at my ankles, look at my hands. And he's just like barely even taking a look. And I'm just like, what a jerk. So he wanted me to mix these two medicines. And I'm like, well, okay, I have some cognitive issues, so I need you to write this down for me. So they printed something out and gave it to me. I didn't really read it until I got the creams from the pharmacy. And I looked at it and it just said to mix it. And I'm like, but you're supposed to give me direction. Like, how do I mix it? Like, it's a tube and a jar. Like, what do you mean by mixing it?
What are the two
So,
medications he got you? Just out of curiosity.
augmented betamethasone
Okay, betamethasone, which is a steroid. Okay.
and
Triamcinolone, 0.1%.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
So what he wants you to, so he did it so that way because,
I just put this one on and then just put this one on top of it. Like,
well, what you should do is you should dump that one into the triamcinolone and mix it up really well. But if you don't think you can do that, then yeah, I'd apply a little bit of both on there. But so what he was trying to do, he was trying to save you a bunch of money because if the pharmacy had to mix those together, it's considered a compound, and it would cost a lot more. And that would have taken him a lot longer to do that because not all pharmacies do compounded medications. So yeah, so he's giving you two different steroids, mixing them together. And
well, he did
I'm
not
assuming,
explain it to me. He just
and
said
then just
mix
apply
it.
it like twice a day or 3 times a day, or
Right, twice a day. And he's like, and then wear socks to bed. And I know people that wrap it in saran wrap and then put socks over that and sleep with that. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not wearing anything on. I did not say this out loud, but I'm not wearing anything on my feet when I go to sleep. I won't sleep. No way. Anyway, he was just a jerk, and I'll never ever go back to see him again, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just so I read the directions, and there's a section that says expectations that the patient understands what, I don't even know, they use the Latin words. I looked it up. It says eczema, right? Um, and that it's stress related. And like they never said anything like this to me in the doctor's office. Not my regular dermatologist, not this one, nobody. And I'm just like, I told you I have cognitive issues. Like, can you not just, but, but then again, I look fine and I sound like a normal human being when I'm talking to you. So when I say I have cognitive issues, I just don't think people believe me. And I'm not gonna effing remember this. Anyway, so my rash is starting to ease. I've only been putting this stuff on my feet. I'm only doing it once a day because that's all I can manage. I figure out maybe I'll take longer, but I do what I can. Um, but yeah, so my brain fog is starting to lift a little bit now. Um, I'm getting a little bit better, but it's taking me so long and it's so frustrating. And I hate that, like, it got to the point where I couldn't make a decision about anything. I would get overwhelmed at like nothing. Um, and nobody has ever really looked at my cognition at all, meaning doctors. Um, and my therapist here on the Outer Banks, like, good luck finding any therapist at all. But she's a licensed social worker and I like her, but she isn't really equipped necessarily to help me other than, I mean, she does fine, but she can't even necessarily relate to what I'm going through. Um, I don't know what see, and here I am. I'm rambling, right? Like I can't get all my thoughts really put together very well, and it's getting a lot a lot better. But it's like this spring is it's just every year something new comes up or something changes, and I'm constantly having to rearrange something in my life to accommodate something new, and I'm just effing sick of it. But let me just stop rambling with my last comment is that I got a letter on Monday from Social Security, and they said um, that they have found that I do meet the medical requirements for disability benefits. And then it says, we have not yet made a decision about whether you meet the non-medical requirements, but we will make that decision soon. So I'm like, what are the non-medical requirements? What does that mean?
Have you worked over 10 years or something to pay into Social Security?
Yeah, that's something that I ran into when I was filing for disability. I didn't have enough work credits. So what they're trying to do is they're just trying to go back 10 years to see like how much you have worked and stuff like that. And they'll just say like, okay, yeah, you've worked enough.
Okay, because it says on the back of it, it says, you said you were unable to work as of January 10th, 2012, which is the date of my diagnosis. So I don't know that I said I was unable to work at that time. I just said that's the date of my diagnosis. And then it says, although you said your disability began on January 10th, 2012, you continued to work at what we consider substantial gainful activity until May 10th of 2024. And that's true. I did keep working.
So it sounds like what they're trying to figure out is when your disability date is.
Yeah.
So what they did with mine, they moved my disability date to the future. So I did not get as much back pay. So that's maybe
Ah,
something what they're doing. They're trying to figure out, yes, she qualifies for disability. However, we don't know what date we go, how far back we go to, because you were diagnosed with MS, but then you kept working gainfully employed until whatever date. So they might pull it forward until you got to that not gainfully unemployed anymore. So that's
that's what,
to me,
and
when you
that's
read the
all I
letter,
was ever, yeah, that's all I was ever expecting. Like, so May of last year, which should be, in my opinion, when I stopped working.
right. So that's what when you read that letter more, that makes me think that they're trying to nail down what date they're going to go with.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Agreed.
that's the non-medical stuff. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Gotcha.
they're saying you
That
got
makes
the
me,
medical portion, but we need to nail down when are you actually considered disabled by Social Security? What date? Because there's a discrepancy on when you were diagnosed with the MS and when you actually stopped your gainful employment.
Well said, Kim.
Thank you, John.
You
Sometimes
nailed
it's
it.
nice to be able to say things that people understand
Right.
the first time. I'm always so grateful when that happens.
Same.
So it
I
sounds
knew
like
you guys
Andrea,
would help me, yeah,
it sounds
figure
like
that
you're
out.
getting
I
Social
feel,
Security. That's amazing because this is your first time. You didn't get denied.
yes,
So that's
right,
amazing. So hopefully in the
right.
next couple months, this is getting wrapped up and they send you your back payment into your account and you start getting so much money a month. So that's really exciting news to hear, Andrea. You just don't know
No,
how much back pay they're going to give you. So that's awesome.
right. Yeah, so I'm really, really excited, and that's part of all the stress from this past spring. I had to go to a doctor locally. I had to go drive an hour and a half to see a psychiatrist. I had to drive an hour to go see an optometrist, and I felt like I passed with flying colors all the little tests they did for me. And everybody says, oh, they'll deny you, they'll deny you. And so, yeah, and now because I went to ask a lawyer for help and he was like, oh, wait till you get denied and then come back and I'll help you. So now that's good. I don't even have to pay for a lawyer. I can keep all the
No,
money
he
for
can't take your
myself.
back pay. Yeah, you won't have to do back pay for him up to $6,000. That's all yours now.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. So I
So
look
I'm
forward
really
to hearing
excited.
when you get the date. I'm excited to hear about when you get the acceptance and what date they chose, and hopefully
Yeah.
everything goes smoothly. That's exciting. That's great news for you because I know that's been really stressful for you. The whole process is
Right.
super stressful. No, to ask to get disability is very stressful. It's very stressful. So.
It really is. And then with our new government administration and all the cuts and stuff, I mean, we'll see how long it takes for somebody to review what the state
Mhm.
disability services is sent back to them. We'll see how
So
long that takes.
So
But
for my review right now, since I'm every 4 years I get a review, um, I think I first sent them paperwork like in June of last year, and then I had paperwork that was due, I think, the beginning of March of this year, and now just recently, the last week or two, bunch of my providers have gotten letters from them to send records over. So, but that tells you anything. So, I don't know how long it will take them to say, yes, you're still qualified, or no, you're not qualified and you need to appeal it. So,
as long as they don't stop payments in the interim.
you can, if they cut you off and you still want payments while you're in appeal, you can do that. I did not do that for the paperwork at all. But they did talk about like if you're going through appeal, but um,
Okay.
so I'm like, on edge. Are they going to still think I'm disabled, or are they going to be like, nope, you're good. You go work full time and go, no, that doesn't really work. I don't. And so, yeah. But I'm so glad to hear that good news for you. You just have to
Finally,
finally get
yes.
finalized. But it sounds like they're just working on that part. And so the hard part is done.
The hard part is over. So, yes. So, hopefully, I can recover from the stress of this past spring while I sit in the air conditioning because I can't go outside.
I was going to take another side here. John, I've asked you this multiple times and you've never answered my question. How often is your medical review? Is it every 4 years? Is it every 5 years? 4. Okay. So now, and I've told you this, you need to go figure out, and maybe someone else here knows this, how to do this. Maybe Alyssa does because she's done everything. Now you can start working on trying to get your loans discharged.
Yes.
Have you been working on that and figuring out when you can apply?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's going to be a couple years.
Before you
But
can do the paperwork, because you have to hit like the 5-year mark or something.
yeah, but that is still up in the air right now.
Okay.
Keep
Like
going
my
with forbearance for your loans. Like, don't worry about paying them. Just do forbearance.
mine are currently being taken out of my disability monthly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Can you do okay, so this is what I did with my husband, but they just changed the laws and I don't know when they go into effect. But with my husband, it was I saved more money filing married but separate. It was easier. I saved more money taking the tax hit, but then not having to have clear his income on my loans, which he has not co-signed all. These are all my loans. There's no co-signing with him. But they now just enacted a law. I don't know when it goes in effect that you can't do that anymore.
Of course, they did.
That was a new law they passed this year, but I don't know when it goes into effect.
I don't know what to tell you then. I finished school in 2011.
Mhm.
And I think I got my loans taken care of by 2014. But I don't remember. I have this thing called MS, and I have CRS. I can't remember shit. I got you guys to laugh. That was the point. Gosh,
Well, I'm
this
glad to
girl,
hear, John, that you and Melissa are trying to figure that out so that you can get those hopefully eventually discharged.
Very much so.
Okay, cool.
Because hers was discharged after being like public servant isn't the right word, but
Yeah, I know what you're doing. Yeah, like a
yeah,
nonprofit public servant. Yeah.
yeah. She was 10 years at her teaching job, and they're like, okay, and we framed that and put it on the wall. Like shit, yeah, we're printing this letter out, and we're gonna post it on the wall, and we're gonna burn all
Sorry.
of your textbooks.
Okay, sorry. That was an aside I wanted to ask when we were talking about student loans. Andrea, back to you. Did you have anything? Go ahead.
I posted some links for you, Andrea, in the chat. For if you want to find a different therapist, there are websites that you can look for different therapists.
Yeah, I really like my therapist. It's just local. I live, yeah, where I live, there's just not a lot of medical professionals. And yeah.
Well, I was just
Um,
trying to help you
and
out.
I prefer to do it online. I mean, in person versus online as well.
Right.
Um, when I lived in Durham, my therapist actually had MS. So that was right when I was diagnosed, and that was very helpful for me. Um, Now it's more, I don't know, get me out of the house and just having somebody to help me brainstorm how to do things, just in general, how to get through life. And she is really good at helping me find things locally. If I need help or assistance with somebody finding local places to get the help that I need.
There you
Um,
go.
so I'm really doing a lot better. Like I said, I was truly struggling this spring. And I feel like I've let so many things kind of fall down. I'm a MS friend with the National MS Society to talk to patients newly diagnosed with MS. And I don't know, a month or more ago, they sent me a link to do my, annual training for doing this, and I just haven't I just couldn't mentally, I just couldn't do it. Um and I didn't answer the phone when she called yesterday, and she left me a message, you've got until June 30th to get this done, and just wanted to check in on you, blah blah blah. And so I still have 6 days, um which I plan to do either this afternoon or tomorrow, because I am starting to be able to think a little bit more clearly, but another week or two would probably help. But um, I knew I was starting to feel better when I started to get bored just sitting around. Because before that, I would just sit there and I just wouldn't get bored. That's all I could do. All I could, all I could gather was just to sit there and maybe play a game on my phone or maybe watch some YouTube. But even watching TV, it's like I couldn't even follow what's going on the TV. Like, whether it's talking heads or a story or whatever. I couldn't even follow it.
Did you have the closed captioning on, Andrea, or not?
Oh, all the time. Yeah,
Still hard to
absolutely.
follow.
Yeah, and my when I'm like that, my vision isn't really great, and trying to read is also frustrating. Gosh darn it, I can freaking read, but it's hard, and that frustrates me too. And um, or my eyes start to jiggle, or whatever. Um, or my eyes start to water and I can't see clearly, or um, but I didn't mean to come and just bitch about things. I came to say I'm feeling better.
Sounds like it.
There's nothing more amazing for me is when I get something taken away and then it comes back. There's nothing that makes me
Right,
feel more gratitude and thankful and just go, wow. And then like how appreciative I am. I just can't explain. That happens to me all the time. I'm just so grateful.
right. Thank you. That's more what I meant to say was thankfully a lot of this is starting to dissipate. It just takes a long time and that's
Yeah.
frustrating, but it does. Like I have a friend that I went to high school with, and he lives in Colorado, and we talk and stuff. And I'm just like, for a long time, it started when he needed knee surgery, and he had the surgery and just couldn't ever bounce back. And he ended up in a wheelchair. And I, I'm just like, and he's like, I'm going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. No, you're not. You have MS. You can retrain yourself.
I think that's something that's really good thing to think about is like when you hit like a block, you learn how to pivot and go around it. So like as you're very well aware, Andrea, when I could not read for the 3 months, I went down to 8 to 12-year-old age books, and so I could still really enjoy reading, but I had to get down to a level that my brain could handle. And I had a really great time. There are so many good books out there, children's books. So don't be afraid to do what I did and go to the library and go, hey, 8 to 12-year-old books for someone for me to read, and you'll read some really great books. I highly recommend Dear Mr. Henshaw by Beverly Cleary. I love that book. And reading it as someone in their 40s versus in third grade when my teacher wrote it to me, my God, I was like almost in tears crying because to me, when I was reading it, it was such a masterpiece. I'm like, I don't know how you can write a better book than this. And I was like having this, I don't know what you would call, um, I don't know, crisis of something, but I was just like
A
so
moment.
incredibly moved and how beautiful. I had to read it 3 times. It was so gorgeous. Every time I read it, I get even more emotional because I'm like, this book is like the best masterpiece ever. And it was just really interesting experience. It did win the Newbery Award for like 1984, so it is considered a good book. But
There you go.
it was, yeah, it touched me very deeply, and it was amazing.
Can I do my stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, if Andrea's
Is
all
that
done.
cool, Andrea?
Yep, all good.
Okay. Since I've seen y'all last, I've had a birthday, and what did I want to do on my birthday? I wanted to get out of the house and not go to see a fucking doctor.
Nice. Happy
So,
birthday.
thank you. 46 looks good on me. So I went to the nerd store, the Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering place. I rolled in and said, I know this smell. I certainly do. Because all those kind of shops have like a smell of like old cards mixed with like body odor of nerds. So I wheeled
Fun.
around.
Oh my God.
I was buying magic cards to play a joke on a friend. And, met the owner. I said, hey, my name's John. He said, oh, we have a lot of Johns around here. I said, well, some people call me Johnny Shoes. And then I heard from like back in the store, I know a guy named Shoes in Mount Pleasant. Isaac? So like random store in like my little pissant town. And here's this kid I used to just beat up on. Like just used to wail on this kid in this card game. So that was like entertaining. That was fun. And then I went to the dispensary where they treated me like a king. Like they pushed me around. They're with me. We're going to get you a discount here. Oh, John, happy birthday. Here's a pre-roll. Another guy, like, happy birthday, John. Here's a pre-roll. But it's a really cool place. And they know me, but they've only met me like twice now.
Right.
But the guys are really, like the owner's really good. The dispensary's down like the homeless shelter, and then also like some factories in town. And so someone comes like, man, I only have $1. It's like, I see what I can do. And he goes in the back, rolls a joint for $1, and says, here you go, man. Like just very community wise. So that was fun. And then I came home and enjoyed my spoils of war.
Sounds like a
And then-
fantastic
Very
birthday.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really nice to get out and about. Oot and a boot for those Canadians. Oot and a boot. So that was really good. That was really good. Ever been to your neurologist and they just do, how do you feel about your current medication? Because they're about to say like, how do you feel about switching medications, right? And so my doctor's like, she said, how's the Posey working for you? I said, it's fine. We haven't seen any new or advanced lesions since my very first lesions. I said, okay. How do you feel about BTK inhibitors? I said, I've heard word about this. What do you think about changing this? He said, well, those are just better for like aging with MS, we're finding. And then I had to do a lot of I see Alyssa like, yeah. So it's with seeing Alyssa and just talking, researching, like, yeah, I trust my neurologist, like, with everything. So
BTK inhibitor is not available yet. It's still in the pipeline.
We're waiting till like January or like next year. We're not gonna try to get it right away, of course.
Isn't that what, Carmen, isn't that what you're on with your
Yes.
clinical trial?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
BTK inhibitor?
Yeah,
It's a
tolobrutinib.
clinical trial.
Okay.
It's the first time being used in primary progressive MS. So they've done lots of studies with relapsing remitting, but not primary. So that's why.
Okay.
Of
You
course.
weren't on the original. You were on the placebo at first, is that correct, Carmen? And then they switched you to the, or you don't know. But now you're definitely getting it.
I'm definitely getting it. I'm now entering my second month of actually receiving the medication, putting it in my mouth every day.
And how
Are
is
you
it
feeling
How's
better?
it going?
I don't know. I had a tough late winter, early spring. My bladder was so bad. That's better. There's so many different variables, and I really can't say right now.
Whenever I hear BTK inhibitor, like all that my neurologist, I could just think like, okay, bind, torture, kill.
Every time.
Okay. But then
every time.
They do have a new version of Ocrevus out.
Okay.
Ocrevus is a Novo.
Yep.
What's different about it?
Peacock.
It's faster.
You take a 10-minute shot.
Oh, it's now going to injectable versus fusion. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Oh, I wonder if my insurance will freaking pay for it now.
So
I don't know. I mean, I saw a commercial on Peacock when I was watching Poker Face. I think I was watching, and first thing I did was I emailed my neurologist, and I think it was Sunday, and I'm like, what is this Ocrevus Zenobo? And I guess they have that. My neurologist has a few patients that is on it, It's just easier than having to sit for 6 hours. It's still effective, but I don't know that much about it.
My
I
neurologist,
just got excited.
yeah, my neurologist is really, really hands off with me at this point. You know, she's like, hey, you're stable. Just keep on your medicine. We're going to run your medicine through to see if there's any pills we can eliminate throughout your day because you are treated by 3 doctors. So she was just really up front and like, this is what we're going to do. And John, you're not going to just trust us. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got bored and dyed my hair blue. So a midlife crisis. Blue hair, different medicine. I bought some Legos. It was a good birthday.
I'm glad you
When
had
was your birthday?
It was on the 12th.
Mine was yesterday. I turned 50.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And I also had another dentist appointment last week. And they made their office even more accommodating by moving their like procedure chair like out even more. So I could just from my wheelchair to my walker to the seat, just transfer. Like I even had to like because the base of the chair goes up, like you have to think like, okay, your heel is on an incline, but you're safe. And so I haven't been to the dentist in a while, so we were expecting like garbage mouth. Not so bad. And they have this new like the scraper, but it also shoots water out of it to keep it cool, and it works just like really faster. Like it was like a half hour, no, like 15 minutes to like get all the stuff through, and I was able to get sit for an entire polish. You know, so I was able to be comfortable and do the thing. Felt really good about it. You know, transfers in and out of the car and everything. And Thursday I go back for some fillings. So I love my dentist because he's very like, okay, how do you feel about this step and then this step? Like bringing these close together. How do you feel about that? I was like, that's cool. You know, whatever. So he's a good, really good dentist. Very lucky to have.
It's really cool that they made better accommodations for you so that you can and hopefully other patients. That's awesome when it's awesome when you see someone and they notice that it doesn't work well for you and then they go out of their way to make it better for you. That's so cool.
Here's the place. It's an old house. So, you know, old houses are not wheelchair accessible at all. But the second owner of the house made it accessible for wheelchairs and everything in the 60s because he realized, like, hey, I'm going to need to take care of people that just can't make it in. So it's nice wide doors, big like rooms and everything. It's great. Like, it's great. Very reassuring, you know.
So.
Okay.
My jalapeno plants are growing like crazy.
Sweet. Want to say hello to Juan Carlos? Did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes, my second time. Um, just wanted to say hi and glad to be here again. It was a great opportunity last time. I enjoyed it. It was a great conversation. So I'm here again for some support.
Did you have anything you needed to talk about today, Juan Carlos?
Maybe later. I'm a little overwhelmed right now, but
Okay.
I like listening to you guys. It's soothing. So maybe later.
So Juan Carlos, what I just talked about was how my dentist office was very wheelchair accessible. You know, that was surprising because it's in an old house, so that's really cool. And I might be changing some medicines next year. Got a haircut, dyed my hair blue. So that's not my way. We've just been talking about everything today. Different
You're gonna be
medicines.
one of those. You're gonna be one of those blue hair liberals.
You're right. And I did a bad job of it because it's supposed to be blue, not like dark blue. But I'll accept it because I'm a guy and I can change my hair color every single month if I wanted to. Also, we've put people on the moon, right? How come we haven't figured out like menstrual pain and like how to make that less? Like, we're smart humans. You know what I mean? Like,
That was quite the transition, John.
sorry, something I was thinking about earlier. I apologize, I'm high. Oops.
It's okay.
I
As
blame
long as
Alyssa.
you don't get naked on camera, it's good. Okay.
That'll do.
I know I did have one thing I wanted to talk about. I completely forgot.
What is it, Alyssa?
Huh?
What is it?
I actually went out of my house last week. I missed the meeting last week at
Yeah,
5.
because you were at the gay pride stuff. That's what John said. You were having a blast.
I was. I went to my friend's brewery, and it was a drag show.
Oh, that sounds
The
fun.
coolest part was that I got into my friend's car. I transferred from my wheelchair into my car, or into her car, and was then able to get out of the car. And my friend basically just took care of me the whole time to get me into the bathroom, and it's one of my best friends since I was 18. And I had a blast. It was nice to be out of my house.
So good to hear. It sounds like it would have been a lot of fun. Yeah,
All
when
right.
John told us, we're like, yeah, I bet she's having an absolute blast right now. So we're glad that you did that and skipped the meeting. Totally worth
Thank you.
it.
Our Pride
It
is
was
this
so
weekend,
worth it.
and I'm really looking forward to going to Pride this year in our little town. This weekend.
Well, you better have a blast, and you better let me know how it was.
Yeah. Melissa's gone every year
Gotta
for the past
go.
couple years.
Hey,
Bye,
Louise.
Louise.
Louise, see you.
Anyways,
See you later. Bye.
Hi. I did want to share a little fun animal story I realized this morning. So, I'm sleeping in a recliner, not this recliner, but a different recliner I borrowed from a friend for 6 weeks in my sling from my rotator cuff surgery. And I realized after the first night of surgery, my dogs take shifts on me. So during the day, Luna, which I'll try to scoot my computer so you can see her. And yeah, she is.
Aww.
So during the day, Luna is the one that takes care of me, and then Odin sleeps on the futon at night when I'm in the couch. So I'll get him. Odin, Odin, come here. So he takes the night shift. Come here, say hi. Say hi. This is Odin.
Aw,
Whoops.
sweet
you're
babe.
beautiful, puppy.
Yeah. So I couldn't believe it because I'm like, I thought they would both sleep with my husband at night because I'm not in bed. But the Odin, my white dog, he stays in the living room with me all night. It's like he's doing the second shift. It's totally blows my mind that I have
Animals just go.
dogs
Animals
are team are tag team in it. She gets day shift and he gets overnight shifts. It's insane, and I
They're
love it.
packed. Yeah.
I have to
It's
go.
so cool. And I
I
was
have to
so
go use the
concerned
restroom.
with
So
him because he is 4, but he acts like he might be 1. He has so much energy. He's so hyper. And he has not jumped on me at all since I've had the surgery. He's given me my space. It's just, animals are the most amazing thing ever. I just have to say,
They
they're
are.
absolutely amazing. And I didn't realize,
Animals know when something's wrong.
yeah. And I think what he figured out after the first night, he's like, oh, mom's going to be sleeping on that recliner. So I need to hang out and make sure if there's a problem, then I can get, dad up and get help. And so I did not ask them to do this. This is all on their own doing, but I'm just totally in awe of the world. My dog,
It's awesome.
our tag, and he's actually really tired out because I don't think he's sleeping. I think he's like doing that, during the day where they're kind of like sleeping, but not really. They're like always like on, monitoring. I think that's what he does all night. He's just constantly monitoring me to make sure I'm okay. So I'm just totally blown away that I have
So
my own
awesome.
dog nurses, making, monitoring me, checking on me. It's amazing. So I thought you guys
Personal
would
care
appreciate it.
canine.
Yeah. I was just, and finally this morning, I like, why? And then I understood. I'm like, oh, they're tag teaming it on taking care of you.
Mm. Yep.
Yep.
They're amazing.
I like that, Alexis.
Durses.
Durses, dog nurse. Oh, John said his OT is scared of Banana. I wonder if Banana gets defensive or like afraid of him because OT's doing stuff and thinks that he's hurting John or something and then gets nasty with him. That could happen, I guess.
Ooh.
He said in the chat, if you read the chat, John says, my OT is scared of Banana. I wonder if Banana gets silly. So anyway, I just
I
wanted to
missed
tell you
something.
guys
Is
that.
Banana the name of his dog?
No, Banana's the name of his turtle.
Oh,
Tortoise, sorry,
okay.
tortoise, not
He told
turtle.
me.
Sorry, turtle is not
Tortoise.
right. Tortoise. Yeah,
Okay.
when his wife Melissa was holding up Banana, she's yellow. That's the name. She's like a yellow
Oh, okay.
tortoise. Yeah.
Cool.
You have a couple of
The,
little
the,
dogs.
the wife is not the yellow one. It was the tortoise.
Okay, thanks, Alyssa. Yeah.
But we meet again in 2 weeks, July 8th, which will be 8:30 Eastern time. I don't know, we can stay on long as you want if there's anything that anyone wanted to talk about or anything. I think we got through everybody that did want to share today. It's great to see you back, Juan Carlos, your second time here. That's awesome. Oh, go ahead and introduce yourself because like Lena, I don't think was here last time. I don't know if Carmen was here. So tell them where you're from and
Well,
a little bit
hi
about
Lina.
yourself.
Yeah, I live in Spokane, Washington. I've had MS since 1991. Well, diagnosed 1991. Um, um, I was born in Puerto Rico. Uh, couldn't live there anymore. Just got too hot for me. So I moved to the States with family, and then it was California for a while, and then now it's Washington. I like it here. It's nice and cool. Being cool it's necessary. Um, that's about it. Everything else is in flux right now.
It's my guy, Pacific Northwest, my neighbor.
How far away are you guys, distance-wise?
About 6.5,
Pretty
7
far.
hours or something drive.
Yeah, she's British Columbia, huh?
Yeah, the Okanagan Valley.
I think if we had
That's
to have a
far.
get together, being in your guys' next to the woods would be the coolest temperature-wise, unless it was in the winter. But during the summer, it would be the coolest temperatures would probably be you guys, that area.
Well,
Not
we would
certain.
have to we would have to schedule it because it's been pretty warm up here now.
You guys have been getting like in the 90s. You're getting the hundreds too?
100 sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that you guys have been getting some heat waves.
Mhm.
So
Which is strange for this time of the year and that hot too. We've been getting warmer and warmer. Like winters don't last as long here in Spokane. There's hardly any snow. It's kind of scary.
especially since you guys aren't equipped with AC. Like not every place in the Pacific Northwest, like in Iowa, that's like a requirement. Anything new.
Yeah.
You don't have AC, then you could probably be getting trouble for
It's become standard, I think, though. Like new construction, anyone, like it's ACs are pretty standard these days.
that is
That was
one.
one of the
Go ahead.
that was one of the biggest shocks when I moved from California here, because the apartment that I lived had central heating and air. When I moved here, it's like no air conditioner, and the heater is just uh, like a heat blower that just pushes warm air. It's so strange.
That's the good part of living in Iowa is we're used to both extreme hot and cold, so we're built for both ends. So we got covered
Yeah.
all the climates. We got it all covered in Iowa. Just we get the insane of both. Okay. Lena, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask or anything?
No,
Okay. Just
nothing
double
yet.
check.
No, I'm
Lena
good.
is such a big talker. Lena,
Did
you
you do?
talk too much.
I'm not. Can you repeat that?
I said, Lena, you're a big talker. You talk too much.
No, I need to calm down. You're right.
What did you do for your birthday, Lena? I wanted to ask.
Just Mexican food yesterday with my son and his girlfriend, and I mean, and they cut a cake and nothing special.
Nice. Nice.
But that's
Where did you
Good
go for
That is
birthday?
awesome.
the weather was good last night. The weather was actually nice, actually a breeze. And I'm like, okay, I was so happy because it's
Where
been.
did you go to eat?
It was in Sherman Oaks. It was uh, I don't remember
Casa
the name.
Vega?
No. I went there last week. It was Anejo
Okay.
in Sherman Oaks. That was good. It was, but it wasn't good. It was very bland. That's okay, but it's okay. So that was my 51 year birthday. It's like, but I'm 51. It's so funny.
You don't
I'm
look it.
not. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It just, you just think of like a certain time and when you're younger, like by this age, I want to be married and have a kid. I want to do this, but things change. MS came along by itself, and you don't want this thing, but here it is. So now we're dealing with it.
Yep.
That kind of, that's kind of funny, but it's okay.
I think we covered a lot of ground today. Holy cow. We went from like Botox, pelvic floor physical therapy, D-Manos, Social Security, loan forgiveness, cooling vests, and different ways to keep yourself cool. We're all over the place, cut drunk. We covered a lot of topics today. And we had a lot of good positive things happen to people since the last meeting. A lot of good things going on. It wasn't just like this, I'm struggling and stuff. So that was really great to hear all the wins today too. So that was awesome.
Alexa agrees. Alexa agrees. She gave us a heart.
Oh, thumbs up. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go
Heart.
ahead and stop the recording.